have to download some software. Okay. Live. It's saying you're live.
We got 10 people. I'll leave my phone right here. Yeah.
Can I hold it up there? Hey, I'm not going to
That thing is automatically records everything. Okay, where do you want the space?
Oh, not that. Good God. Good. Oh, that's even worse. Okay. Well, can they see back there? Music, and then let me, yeah. Okay, I need. Hi.
Oh, I was going to look for the picture of that fish.
Oh, did you ask Nancy?
I did not.
Okay, the other person,
I'll get it.
the other person would know would be my grandson. Let me ask him.
Just stop playing.
It's on. Hello. Oh, it does work. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for attending today. Hopefully those on the, this is really testing my technology here, right? So we're streaming live, and then you all hear as well. So hopefully those on the streaming live on YouTube can hear as well. So thank you for attending virtually and in person. I'm going to try really hard to get through all this, but I'm so happy to see all these faces because it just reminds me of how many people love my dad. In addition to, his family, he had friends' family. And as many times as I tried to get him to move to Charlotte, you all are the reasons that he did not want to move to Charlotte. This was his family and friends here. He loves his golf family and his dear neighbors, and this is where he wanted to be. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to do just a quick few introductions. I'm going to turn it over to Grant, my oldest son, and then I'm going to come back and say a few words, and then Mr. Kenny's going to say a blessing for us. And then I'm going to leave this microphone open, and I'm hoping to hear a lot of fun stories about my dad. So everyone get their thinking caps on and be ready to share some fun stories, because I know all these golfers here have had maybe rated whatever X stories, R stories, MPG, but be ready to share your stories. So thank you. First I'd like to introduce my dad's brother and family. They're here from Toledo, Ohio. This is my dad's youngest brother. They're, you guys stand up. My dad's youngest brother, John, and his son, JJ and Stephen, his wife, my dear Aunt Betty, and Alexia, my other cousin, and Drew. So thank you all for coming and being here with us. So Grant, you want to start off with a poem that Dad loved, and then I'll take it back.
I didn't forget it. I'll just hold this like. Okay, so this was one of Paul. That's what we call him, Paul's favorite poems. It was actually read at Diane Momo's service as well. So it meant a lot to him. That's one thing he really appreciated. So I will read this. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. He said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth. And now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we lived, how we loved, how we spend our dash. So you think about this long and hard. Are there things that you would like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be arranged. To be less quick to anger, to show appreciation more, love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect, more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash may only last a while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things that they say about how you live your dash?
I'll need the microphone. Okay. So, thank you, Grant. So Dad loved this poem so much because it is about the dash and it's about all the things he did. So when I think about my dad's dash and everything he did between 1946 and 2021, there's a lot of great things to talk about. But I'm just going to hit a few just so hopefully you all can understand more about him if you didn't have the chance to know him as well. My dad was one of 7 kids. There were 6 boys and 1 girl. So that poor girl. And she's wonderful. She lives in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. She was not able to travel. Dad was the 3rd oldest, and still surviving is Judy, his oldest sister, and then Dad, and then his brothers, Jim, Dave, and John. Dad lost 2 battles during the Vietnam, 2 brothers during the Vietnam theater, and 1 died in Vietnam, the oldest. And then his other brother, who was his actually Irish twin, he died when he was on leave for his brother's service. So, you know, I say all this because that's a hard thing. And a lot of people would cripple from that. But if you all knew my dad, that is not what he did. He was full of determination, and it just gave him such an appreciation for life and how you have to treasure the ones that you love. And so, you know, my whole life, I've always heard from him is like memories, you know, make memories, because no one can take those away from you. You have them for life. They can give you a smile. And that's what was important to him, was the memories and the people around him and his family. Dad also had an amazing opportunity to love 3 women in his life, which, you know, not everybody gets that opportunity. His first wife, Nancy, who was my natural mom, they were together a short time. She passed away after 2.5 years. And then he met Diane, who was my mom. They were married for 44 years, a wonderful life. She was an amazing, fiercely loving grandmother. You know, I think I kind of got forgotten after the grandkids came along, but, you know, she was all about us. And then, you know, when you think that you've had 2 great loves, then you met Nancy. So we're very fortunate that we had Nancy. She's part of our family, and she loved Dad and was such a blessing for him. And we are very fortunate to have her. So the other thing I wanted to just say about Dad is, you know, his love of life, right? Jokes. He could tell a really good joke. You know, you had to get the setup. He made sure to deliver the punchline and a good laugh to go with it. He loved to pick on people, Betty. And my Aunt Betty could not go through a conversation without some fierce picking back and forth. But that was his way of showing love and appreciation for people and making people laugh. He always had a smile for everyone, no matter when you saw him. You didn't know what was going on in his life, but he always had a smile. And he was the most determined man you've ever met. And there was nothing he couldn't fix. Literally, there's nothing the man couldn't fix. I used to joke with him that he had two houses. He had his house and he had my house. And every time he came to Charlotte, he'd call first and say, all right, what are we working on? What tools do I need? And he'd come prepared and we'd fix. And then, he started passing the baton, and thank God for FaceTime, because I could not get through one project without several FaceTime calls asking, how do I do this? What do I do? Most recently, this was right before he went to the hospital, my water heater broke. And it is 21 years old, right? So it's time. But, he thought we could fix it, right? And so he said, are you sure the highlight's not on? And I said, I don't know. I've turned the knob. I feel like it, it's not coming on. He said, take the phone and put it on FaceTime and stick it in the hot water heater. So I turned on the FaceTime and I literally stuck my phone all the way in that hole. He's like, no, the highlight's not on. So, so he was, could fix anything. And that was a skill that, he passed on, hopefully, to my grandkids, my kids, who will be able to fix things in their house. The other thing is there wasn't a sport that he could not play. Hopefully you all had a chance to look at some of the items up here. He was a great basketball player. He played football, he played baseball, he played softball. When I was growing up, he played indoor tennis, he played volleyball. I mean, there was just not a sport. He bowled a perfect game. Everything, cards, darts, cornhole, he gave everybody a run for his money. So extra competitive spirit, which goes back to that determination and a courage. And of course, he loved Duke basketball and Coach K. So hopefully he can give some good luck to the Duke players this season. They need it. And he'll be happy up there to give that. When he lost his leg, I thought if he can't play golf, I don't know what's going to happen to his life. And we were outside of the surgery, getting ready to wheel in. The surgeon came out and said, is there anything, like any questions that you have, or you know what we're going to do? And he said, I have a golf tournament in September and I'm going to Costa Rica in 6 weeks. Can we do it? And the surgeon's like, sure. He said, okay, let's go. So, that spirit of getting ready to go get your leg amputated, and that's what he wanted. He wanted to go golf, and he did. He got his leg amputated May 7th, and in September he went on a week-long golf trip in Virginia. So the determination and the spirit to live a full life was what drove him, and I hope that all of you, saw that in him. I have a paper that I want to read to you all. My dad has this little box that's on his dresser, and it's been there my whole life. It was his dad's initials on top of it. It's a small box, and he has a letter from his dad, a couple of medals and some rings and things like that, just things that are important to him. And about a year ago, he pulled this out. And this was a paper I wrote in 10th grade. I got an A on it, just so you guys know. I got it. And he saved it all this time. And I wrote it January 12th, 1984. So this week, 36 years ago. And, when I read it, it just describes how I feel about him today. I feel like I was writing a eulogy 36 years ago. So I just wanted to share it with you. And the fact that he saved it all this time means a lot, and I know it meant a lot to him. So bear with me. I'm going to read my 10th grade English paper to you. So Um, so many older people have influenced my life. Obviously, our parents influence us the most. They teach us our responsibilities and they help form our morals and our values. They teach us as we grow. Every moment in our lives, they're there, helping us even when it's not wanted. So I guess that's why I picked my dad. He taught me everything I know of the world and life. He helps me understand who I am. Maybe not in the open, but in an indirect way. Somehow he helps me understand my emotions. You know, each of us is a really complex person. And sometimes if something is wrong, it takes someone on the outside who knows us and understands us to point that out. My dad is always that person for me. When I look back on all the times I turned down a chance to let him help me, I regret it very much. All he was trying to do was form me into a better person like himself. So the day that I'm similar to him, I'll be very happy with myself. Sorry. Writing this now makes me realize how much I love my dad and how much I owe him. So, you know. Okay. Back to smiling. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share. Just, I know you all have such good memories of him from different times in his life and your life, and I'm so thankful that he had you all, because it just means a lot to him. So, John, if you'd like to say a blessing, and then we'll eat. There's an open bar. The food will be here, and please take time to look at all the pictures of Dad.
Thank you. Before I do a blessing, I'm going to use the power of the mic and tell my Kenny story. A couple of years ago, Kenny called me and said, "Hey, I've got a golf week going, and I'd like you to go with us." Set up in Virginia, and he says once or twice a year, me and a bunch of guys get together and play golf for a week. Would you like to go? Yeah, 6 rounds of golf in 1 week. That's more than I play in 6 months. So yeah, I ought to go. So I accepted, and he said, "Oh, by the way, you'll be the youngest person on this trip by quite a bit." Okay, so I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of old guys for a week. I can do that. And then he says, "Oh, by the way, we play 36 holes every day. These old guys can do it. I can do it." And he says, "Oh, by the way, we play for money. You probably ought to bring a bunch." Yeah, he's seen me play golf. And he said, "Oh, by the way," now I'm getting nervous, "we go to Tasty Freeze every night for ice cream." But you're going to let off with that. I signed up. So we went up, we played golf for 5 days because a tropical storm rolled in and we thought we better get back to the girls. In 5 days, I played 10 rounds. I won 1 match. It's the match where Kenny was my partner. Kenny was the scorekeeper. When we came home, all my money was in Kenny's pocket. It was a great week. That's the picture of the guys. One of the old guys got a hole-in-one. I was over in the trees looking for the ball. But it was a great week with a bunch of old guys, and I would love to do it again. But Kenny, we'll miss you. We'll remember you, cherish our memories. Let us pray. Father, we come together today to celebrate the life of our dear friend, Ken Rogers. While we may grieve his loss, we celebrate the man he was, the father he was, the friend he was, and the loved one he was. We ask your blessing and your comfort on the family as we go through the difficult time. But help us celebrate his life. And as we continue our fellowship and into our meal, we ask that you bless us what we receive. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, so we leave the house, and please help yourself. Again, the wine, beer, water, drinks, and food. So please go get something, and then the mic. Any questions? Okay. Right, so if you want to come to the people ready to choose, that's great. So that's you, honey.
You guys don't have to look at me. So as you guys know, when he lost his leg, like she said, he was determined. Like there was never no for anything. It was, I can do it. Yeah, okay, I can do it. I mean, he wheeled around the front yard in a wheelchair with a weed whacker, and that's how he cut his grass. You know, so there really was no answer for Ken Rogers. So one year, Mom surprised us with ACC basketball tickets. We have shared a love for Duke basketball, and we always call each other after the games, and he's always mad. Even if they won, yeah, okay. So, and it's just something that we shared. You know, it was our thing, and Duke basketball. So that's how we learned it. And one year, Mom surprised us and got us tickets to the ACC basketball tournament in Charlotte. They don't count on getting on to Charlotte, anyways, but let alone with one leg. So, you know, once we convinced them to come down and we got a chance to go to the game, got some awesome seats. And Kenny had, as you guys know, a Duke prosthetic on us. That's all he insisted. He wanted a Duke prosthetic. Do we bring it anywhere? Is it around? Can't wave it for all time's sake. So we're sitting in the stands, and I get a Duke shirt. We're close enough. I'm like, come on, let's do this thing. Oh, wave this damn thing around. They gotta know there's a New Balance shoe attached to a prosthetic here. They're gonna see me. So I'm waving this Duke prosthetic around. And I said, everybody around us. What's going on? Where'd you get the leg? Whose leg is it? Are you gonna get it back? Let's see. And the guy who does all the commentating for the Hornets, who's running the ACC tournament, he sees me from listening to this. Kind of bows to me, and I was like, oh, this is a leg, all right. He's like, you come here for a second. So I walked over and told him everything that was going on. He goes, you're coming on the court. I was like, oh, what's my grandpa's leg? What is he gonna sit in the stands? I was like, yeah, come on, you come on the court. And so he waiting in the wings. It's probably been half an hour. I went down there at the end of the first quarter. So Ken's been sitting here for 45 minutes, no leg. He's like, I gotta pee. I can't go anywhere. My grandson's got my leg. He's somewhere. And so finally we go on the court at halftime. I get to go on the court at halftime. And they were playing Syracuse. Yeah. There was a Syracuse fan. So our goals were to hype up our teams. The Syracuse fan went, he's jumping around, and he won at Syracuse. How excited can you get, right? So then I go on there and I'm like, a year ago my grandma lost his leg. I had the Duke prosthetic covered up with a rubber sheath, I guess. And and we're here today, and I pulled the cover down, showed everybody the Duke thing, and everybody went crazy. I mean, I felt like, superstar at the time. I'm like 2 drinks deep on the good court, waving his leg around. I'm going crazy. People are taking pictures, and I think I'm probably really confused more than anything. Right? Like, what? So that was our little 15 seconds of fame, and people took notice to it. They kind of caught some following online, and Coach Engels picked it up, and they're like, hey, if you like chicken legs, we got a deal for you. So, that was kind of our thing, and then we got to interview about it after on the news, and, I think he was tickled for every second of that. And if you guys knew him, he hated his phone, but for a year after that hit, everybody said, oh, look at this. Oh, let me send you the link, and you pull all videos, and, so, probably was a lot of joy, and probably the best memories I have of him. Yeah. But
Yeah, the gentleman, $50 goes in. He was all, you always dogged on me because I sent it. I'm sorry, because that person was here. So. He did make it to the bathroom. Easy, do not respond to that, please.
We will have people come tell stories shortly.
Hello? Oh, it does. Hi, I'm Ken's brother, John. I'm the youngest. And I just wanted to tell a couple quick stories with Ken. Okay. We were 10 years apart, so I didn't get much growing up with him as in my younger years. But as we got older, we were able to do some things together. And one thing that wasn't talked about much was his love of hunting and fishing. And we got to do some good things. I said I was going to be okay. Well, we got to go to Iowa pheasant hunting a few times. And one time we were out there hunting and he had wounded a pheasant and it was running. And he got out of the car and he's running down this pheasant. It was so funny watching him try to get this pheasant. And he's swinging his shotgun at it to try to hit it. And he eventually got it. But that was quite a scene watching him in his 50s running down this pheasant. And we were able to go up to Canada fishing a few times with Kim. And one time he caught the biggest fish up there. He loved to brag about his fishing skills. Well, you know how he caught it? He got his lure hooked underneath the boat on a snag, and as he's pulling it loose, the fish hits it. So he reeled it in about 8 feet to where it was. And it was the biggest fish we caught that trip. And but he was the only man that I knew that combined golf and hunting. We when he lived in Kentucky, we went down golfing quite a few times with him at the golf club he belonged to. And deer season had started that very first day that we were there. He said, well, I'm going to go out and go hunting first, and I'll come back and wake you up, so we can go hunting. Well, I'm sleeping in. Yeah, I'm a late sleeper. I'm sleeping in, and about 7:30 in the morning, John, get up. I got a deer. So he drags me out of the bed. We go out through the woods. I have to help drag like a 240-pound deer back to the house. And, that was the kind of guy Ken was, though. I mean, it was always fun, always fun. I will miss him.
Since I'm with the microphone, I'll just tell you another story if you wouldn't mind, because it was on my notes, but didn't get there. So when I was 13, Dad was a manufacturer most of his career, and the plant was shut down for the month of July. So we took a month and we drove from Virginia to California and back. And it was just Mom, Dad, and I. And, those are the days where you order your trip checks ahead of time, because you don't know where you're going. So we had the whole trip planned day by day with the trip checks. And here's how you get there, here's the hotels. Every hotel had to have a swimming pool, the whole thing. So we head out west and we stop in Vegas. And it was our first time going to Las Vegas. And, Dad said, he was so excited because he had bought tickets, front row tickets to one of the shows, the Vegas shows. And he was so excited. So it was like this family show. We got dinner and we were front row. So we all sit down and his arms were on the stage. They were long rows of tables, his arms on the stage. And we're eating dinner and the show starts and the girls come out and they're all topless. And I was, what is going on? But Mom and Dad's faces were far worse than mine. Their eyes were like saucers going,
What did we just do? This is, but it was very tasteful and it was a beautiful show. And so we all stayed and we had dinner and we watched the topless, Vegas girls dance. But it was a fun story and it was a wonderful trip. And my mom started, my birthday's in July, so she started charm bracelet. The day of the trip I got it, and every place that we stopped, I got to add a charm. And at the end of the trip, I had this amazing charm bracelet of our month of driving across the country and back. So that was a trip that today we don't really get among our kids. We didn't have cell phones. I mean, you were trapped in the car. So it was a wonderful trip and a great memory.
So the microphone's here. I have a taker.
Everybody, my name is Hank Sealing. I'm a member of Pine Forest, and Bandit. But my funny Kenny story is I was the tournament director for the Men's Golf Association and been on the board for a while. And when Kenny lost his leg, he moved up to the red tees and started playing golf. And there were some members that started bitching and complaining. Kenny's too good to be playing from the red tees. He hits it a mile. It's not fair. He gets too many points, shots, whatever. And so I was like, y'all, calm down. The man has got one leg. So let him move up, let him play from where he's playing and enjoy playing golf. Well, about 2 weeks, something later, Kenny and I got paired together on a team for one of our men's golf association tournaments. Well, it only took a very small sample size, about 7 holes. And I said, Kenny, dude, you got to move back. I said, you're wailing on people out here. I said, but let's not do this until after this tournament's over. And then we'll talk about it again. But I really enjoyed Kenny and seeing him, and he saved me a bunch of money. I have an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old son. And when they got started playing golf, they weren't very good, and they were hitting it everywhere. And he would always come by my house, and there would be a big bucket of golf balls that he had fished out of the pond and everything. And thanks to Kenny, I was able to get my boys to start writing thank you notes. And, I do appreciate everything he did, and he's definitely going to be missed out of the club. Thank you all.
My name is Rick. And for those of you who know me, they know that I like to tell stories. And my stories are sort of like an Aesop's fable. There's going to be something at the end that you can understand and maybe pick up on. So I'm going to give you one of mine that involves Kenny. And I'm going to start with the scorecard. And the scorecard is, if you look at the scorecard, it tells you about, this is the course, it is rating, it is this hard or that hard or this. That's sort of like life. So that's the description of his life. It's sort of hard some places, and it goes some places. So you have to take advantage of that. And you keep your number versus the score on the card, and it's not how well you play and how well you score. Those are two different things. And so with Kenny, it's how he scored or how he lived his life. Two different things. So the way my story goes, we have a relationship that I'll get to in a minute. one of the things that happened, I need to tell you about. I asked Steve if I could, this was casual, and he said, because I usually wear a flowered Hawaiian shirt. And I said, okay, well, I must have said it too loud because the fashion police came after me and said, you wear that shirt, I'm gonna take away your seersucker suit. So that didn't work out so well. But I picked this shirt because it's the Mexican Guayabera. And you know how Ken spent his time in Mexico. And I have spent some time in the Southeast and the Southwest. And one of the things that we find out there in the Southwest is a plant called a prickly pear. And there's good and there's parts to that. The outside is very rough and prickly, obviously. And the inside is very sweet, very succulent, and they make candies, jelly, jams, and all of those things. Margaritas. Okay. So my relationship with Ken is sort of like a prickly pear. Now, I'll take his outside first because he could be pretty stubborn. And he could say some things that people would wonder and say, why am I doing this? So our relationship was, he would say something and I would say something. And then it's sort of like, between the two of us, it's sort of like Ken's standing over here, and I'm standing over here, and there's a fence post in the middle. And we're both arguing with the fence post trying to get it to run our way. So that didn't happen. As our relationship goes on over a number of years, my wife got sick and hard to take care of. So just casually, Ken comes over to me, just the two of us, and he says, I understand how hard it is to take care of someone who's sick. He said, not everybody does. And then he said, welcome to the Band of Brothers. And must have been watching the History Channel, because that series, involved U.S. Army, Easy Company. So for 15 years, I had a relationship with the Prickly Pear, and 5 years, a relationship with the Band of Brothers. And then more recently, my wife, I was trying to keep her at home, and I couldn't. And there was, I had a caregiver call the house, and I said, well, I'm going to play golf. I'm going to put her in a golf cart, and we're going to go. And so I get over to the golf course, and after the end of the course, we're all running away, and so we're going to finish up, and we're going to say, okay, this is what's going to happen. And then he walked over to my wife and said, oh, you got a new hairdo. It looks really nice. And she got a big smile, something that I had not seen in months. So there's the inside of the prickly pear. So we have both the outside and the inside. And in the end, it's sort of like we have one of these relationships Ken and I did. And it's sort of like we're coming down to the end of match play. And of course, I only have one good leg. He has one good leg. And I just wonder, I never did think about it, but can I put a left foot on that leg instead of a right foot? Anyway, we're coming down to the last hole, and we're tied. And This is match play, so we each have about a 3-foot putt. And I look at Ken, he looks at me, and then we said what describes how our relationship is. And that's good.
Hi, I'm Donna, and I was one neighbors with Ken for about 12 and a half years now. Often the first neighbors in the neighborhood, we were like the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth families in the neighborhood, so we got really close. And my story's not going to be funny, but I just want to talk a little bit about how he's inspired me and my family. Ken was the best neighbor ever. I know that everybody who knows him knows this. He was just an amazing neighbor. Like, he was always helping. He was always sitting in his garage, and people would walk by, and he'd be like, "Hey!" He was like the governor of our neighborhood because everybody knew who he was. You know, walk past the garage. You know, you talk to people in the neighborhood, they're like, "Oh yeah, you know this guy." They're like, "Oh yeah, Ken always sits in his garage." Yeah. So, you know, he was always helping. We've done a lot of home projects, and anytime I was ever working on home projects, he'd be over there helping out. And so that was always really nice. He always took our garbage can from the street since we were at work all day, and we'd come home and it would be, you know, right outside the fence. And sometimes he'd go through the gate, let it in, and not close it all the way. Sometimes the dogs got away, but that's okay. You know, he made an effort to be helpful. You can see him still be occasions mowing somebody's grass or weeding somebody's grass. And so, you know, those are just the things that I always remember about Ken. And then about 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, Kim had come down one weekend and she, you know, called and she's like, "Oh my goodness, you know, Dad is in the hospital, we gotta take him on." And anyway, he ended up losing his leg and we went to visit him in the hospital. And this is what I just want to talk about, just what I remember about Ken was that no matter what was going on in his life when he lost his leg, he still continued to be the most positive person. And I'm going somewhere with this story about that. But he just so positive to even the point where I went to see him when he was laying up in the bed two weeks before he died, and he just was like, "Hey, beautiful, how are you doing?" It's so good, you know, and I know he was not feeling that good inside. So that meant a lot to me. He would always ask, even that day when I came 2 weeks before he died, he's like, "How are your girls doing?" All the years my girls were at college, he always asked how they were doing, and he wanted to know that day how my girls were doing. And so, but one of the things that I just remember most about him was that just his positivity and the fact that he never gave up on anything. And that was evidence when he lost his leg. I was shocked when he was like, "I'm going out on the golf course. I'm going to Costa Rica." I mean, he traveled, he was out on that golf course all the time. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's amazing." Well, this is where I want to go with this story is I'm a school counselor, so I work with little kids, and I have a lot of conversations with kids. I'm going to talk about, you know, what's going on? Can you try to do this? Like, I can't. And so you always try to have those conversations and let them know you can, but you don't know how to show that to them. Well, one day, I was looking out my window and I was like, "What's he doing?" Grant referenced how Ken would go out his lawn or in his wheelchair with a weed whacker and he'd be weed whacking. And I saw that, and so I like walked outside and I went over. And I was like, "Hey," he said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And we talked for a few minutes, and I asked him, I said, "Ken," I had my phone with me. I said, "Ken," I said, "Can I take a video of you?" I was like, "I know this sounds weird, but can I take a video?" And he's like, I said, because you know what? I said, those kids that I work with, when they tell me I can't, I'm gonna show them this video. I'm gonna show them, here's my neighbor, who's 70 years old, has one leg, and he is in that wheelchair with that weed whacker. He needs to cut his grass and he is getting it done, so don't you dare tell me you can't. And that is what I love and remember about Ed Rogers, is that probably was never part of his vocabulary. I can't.
I really don't know how to use this. See, told ya. It's on? All right. It's gonna be short and sweet. At Pine Forest, Nancy and I were golfing and we were behind Kenny McGuire, Jim Hisman, and of course our Kenny Rogers. And as Nancy and I took our tee shots on number 4, we get to our second shot and we're waiting and we are waiting and we are waiting. I said to Nancy, what the hell are those guys doing? Anyway, they finally moved. We saw Kenny and Jim come back to pick up Kenny Rogers. We get to the clubhouse and I go to Kenny and I go, what the hell took you so long? He says, Pat, you're not going to believe this. He said that when I went down the hill, the cart kind of moved on me. I fell out and my damn leg went over here. And I couldn't get it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Kenny, I'm going to shoot you. But that's it. I remember Nance and how we bitched about it. Because they held up our name. And one more thing about that man. I am a Syracuse fan, die-hard basketball. He was a die-hard damn Duke fan. Last year we had a bet. I live in Florida now, and I couldn't find a damn Duke t-shirt because I tell you, I would have worn it today. He made me last year, our bet, if I lost, I had to wear this stupid Duke t-shirt all day golfing. Sure enough, that morning, Nancy brings me one of his shirts. Sure enough, here I am golfing in that damn shirt. But anyway, Kenny, rest in peace, and I will never, never forget you. Love you.
Hi, I'm Steve Bernard, and Kenny's a good friend of mine. And I think of Kenny, I think of what a great friend he was to me, because he would do things. He wouldn't wait to be asked. He would just see a need and he would go out there and he would do things. Al and I were screening my porch and Kenny stopped after the stuff by, and all of a sudden, for the next 4 hours, he would help me rescreen my porch. And we really needed the 6'2", 6'3" reach of this man. And it was just one of those things. He'd stop by, he would help us. He'd bring along the power washer. He'd have a thing to do our driveways. We didn't even think we needed to redo our driveways after we got done our driveways. I didn't know it was that color. Thanks, Kenny. So we would help him do his house too, and that yellow was hard to get that green stuff off. But Kenny, he was just such a good man, and that didn't do with the golf side. He was pretty serious at all. Now Kenny's like the rest of us. He can get grumpy. He can be a crotchety old man. But the biggest thing that used to stick in his straw was having to give away those strokes. He used to rent teams. He had to give 5 strokes away. He said, that's just not right. It's not right. I bring out, I show him mathematically why it was right and all that kind of stuff. But he just, to this day, he didn't believe it. But then finally they for the non-golfers in the crowd, actually, beginning of last year, they did away with all that and they just made each team have your own handicap and that's it. No more, Kenny couldn't complain about it anymore because they did the math for you. So Kenny, you know, the last 3 years was like with just the one leg, was still a really, really, really good golfer. Matter of fact, he won the match play tournament. Ben, are you still here, Ben? He just left. Ben forgot to tell him he's a scratch golfer, no handicap. And Kenny, I think, was a 4 at that time, which is really, really good. And they went to 50% of the handicap for the match play. So Kenny only got one shot against Bandit. And that was on the last hole. So he had to play him even up, the best golfer in our entire course. And they were even going to the last hole. And that's the hole that Kenny got a stroke of. And they both parted. So your grandfather won that tournament with one leg, complaining about how many strokes he had to give. Good job, Mom. And all the rest of us. But no, Kenny was a great man. We are going to miss him. And before I leave, I just want to say, in addition to golfing and fishing and hunting, which he loved, he really, really loved his friends, and he really loved his family. And what Nancy and Brent and Max and Christian, okay, what you guys, the love that you showed him throughout your lives, but especially in those last few weeks, that was hard. That was really, really hard. I really wanted to understand the love these people showed Kenny in his last days because it was not easy to live with at that time. However, he knew he loved him. He really, really did. So thank you for it.
My name is Betty, and this is your dog who can love to pick on. And I do mean pick on. I think sometimes you try to see how far you can get this Mexican blood boiling. I mean, the things that he would say to me. And the funny part is that when he met Nancy, when they started going out, and I would talk to them on the phone, we always had the phones on speakerphone. And again, Ken would try to get my goat. And I'll admit, I may not cuss around my kids, but boy, Ken could make me cuss just like a sailor. Let me tell you, and the words that came out of my mouth, and I thought, gosh, I hope Nancy doesn't get offended by my choice of words. Then I thought, well, she's just going to have to get used to this because this guy could really get my goat, you know? And the funny part is that when I first met Ken, it was right before our wedding there. He came down to Ohio for our wedding. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Oh my gosh. Every time with Ken, I would always use the word down. Okay, you're coming down or we're coming down or whatever. And he would pick on me and correct me every time, saying it's up, not down. And I can see Kim is going to start doing that now too. So they'll always be in my memories there. But it was the night before our wedding, and John had a bunch of his friends over and they were playing cards. And again, this was the first time that I met him. And I'm listening, doing the dishes and stuff, and some of the words that came out of his mouth, I'm not going to say them, but some of the words that came out of his mouth, I was like, who is this guy? You know, because John, I don't know, to me they were sort of completely a little bit different, at least at that time. Because you know when you're dating, you're trying to
show your love for someone, and John was the sweetest person, and now after 36 years of marriage, that sort of has changed. But, so Ken was just really showing me his true side and everything, and I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna like this guy. You know, well, my gosh, that changed, naturally that changed. I have so many beautiful memories of Ken. And the funny part is, even though he thought he got my goats, 95% of the time he didn't. I just acted like it because it made Ken's day. I mean, he got such a big kick out of that. But I guess, you know, the most memories that I would cherish with Ken is definitely our time in Costa Rica. You just can't erase memories. And then when they were down here in October, you know, that is still very hard to believe how someone can leave us that fast. But I'm sorry, but I thank God every day that he came down because we made a bunch of great new memories. And he introduced us to the air fryer. So he was so determined to show us this air fryer. And Kim kept saying, you know, Dad wants to make these chicken wings and it has ranch dressing. And I said, I don't do ranch dressing. Oh, but then you gotta try this. I said, I'm sorry, Kim, I do not do ranch dressing. You know, I don't care if Ken gets upset at me or not. Shit, I don't like ranch dressing. Well, I did not realize that it was the powdered ranch dressing, so Ken, you know, made that. And it was the best chicken wing I've ever had. But because of that, my one son who is not here, Christopher and his girlfriend Carrie Ann, they love the air fryer so much that they went out and bought one. And now my other son, Stephen, they love the air fryer, so they went out and bought one. So Ken, I mean, he should have gotten a commission with all of his air fryers. But my understanding, see, you got somebody else into the air fryer here. You know, see, again. So, you know, that's something that I will always treasure. But I did come across this, and I just wanted to read this real quick. Because this is true, so true. Okay, he's probably laughing down at me right now because he's not used to me not having to be able to get words out. Believe me, he's not used to that at all. But those we love never truly leave us. There are things that death just cannot touch. That is our memories. So again, from the bottom of my heart, Ken, thank you for all of the memories that you have given me. And my family, you are truly going to be missed. Thank you, guys.
My name's Al Dixon. Higher? My name's Al Dixon. Okay. And Steve and I and Ken were all the three amigos. Because we did do the houses and we did the driveways and stuff like that together. So we became good friends and very good friends. But I know that Kenny had a little streak in him that he got upset when he played golf but never played well. So we're on, I think it was the 13th hole, and he was not having a good day, which was very, very unusual. He is just an awesome player. Awesome. And he gets to 13, and he hits a bad shot, hits it in the water. He takes his club, bang, right over his knee, there it goes, club's broke. And I'm over there, and I'm laughing. And he's getting upset more now. And I keep laughing. He said, what are you laughing about? I said, you just broke your club, and now you got to fix it or buy a new one. And this happened several times. He broke it. It was just crazy. But it wasn't often because he didn't play well. He played good all the time. I had a hard time beating him up. I'm a half decent player, but he is great. He was really great. And it was a challenge all the time. He made you challenge. It was great. I played better when I played with Kenny than I played with anyone. He just kept you playing hard. That's what he did. He worked very hard in his game. He did. He was a special individual. I wore this hat today because I'm an Eagles fan. Well, the Eagles hadn't won a Super Bowl in 60 years, I think, something like that. And I was there, by the way, in 1960. I was always there in 1960, but I beat Green Bay, right? And finally won the Super Bowl in 2017. So what's Kenny do? He goes out and buys his hat there. That's the kind of guy he was. He was a special guy. He's got a great family. They're good people. Kim, kids, just great people. He's been lucky. He's been lucky in life, so it's not bad. I love the guy. Just appreciate it.
Hi folks. Oh, this is not easy to tell you voice like this. So I'm Tim's grandson. Short story about Mr. Robbins. That goes way back. Paul asked him and I did that. Line everyone. Yes. Just make sure you don't do that. This man, I will tell you one other thing. Coming from a tiny family from Bearberry, come on, very well also. That's the way I grew up. The first time I saw him after meeting him in Kentucky, was in Virginia. I walked up to give him a hug. And this man stood there, from with a military stance, and I thought, oh, it's over now. That's gone. But let's flash forward to a few weeks ago, a few years ago. Every time I met someone, I was on the club. Thank you all.
Hi, this is John. I drive from New Jersey. On a personal request from anybody, call me on the phone one time. My son just going to the South Carolina to see my sister in Texas. And I knew Kenny wasn't well. But I wasn't sure my sister would handle comfortable with my grandson and son and wife and us too. And I really did love to Kenny. But I said to Kenny, I don't know if yes, you can handle it. I promise I'll be there. 2 days after my son leaves. Oh, no. Gotta give my answer. It's her birthday on New Year's. I don't want her to be alone. And he says, I promise you, I'll be there for her birthday as well. And he was right. And when he visited him, eldest man spoke his arm, we had some personal talks too. And he kept saying to me, tonight's not the night. Tonight's not the night. Don't worry. Tonight's not the night. And he was right. 18 years, 18 years to start out. You know, he's say around about it. He just kept saying to me, I feel good. I feel strong. He's strong. No matter how ill you are, you just kept saying, I feel strong. Look at me. He was a fighter right after something very, very close. And when I first met him, it's on the golf course. Starting on my sister, I didn't know it. I am not a golfer. My sister took me to we went off somewhere in Vermont with 120-some women. We knew how to golf, and I didn't. I was golfer. She tried to had a very bad back. It's not my sport. But I didn't know I was trying to play that golf. And afterwards, I came over with this partner to please. And then it was instantly our stance and how we were golfing and how we looked. And I didn't know him. Always walk. That's I was in the starting to do that. And I'm not so after Andy started going out, he was down to see my dad. And my dad's a little guy like me. And there's him. My father, my little guy, I was very excited. But my dad called and said she finally met someone really fantastic. Really nice to be alive. And talk about helping. My dad's on someone with his father, his body going on. The very first is there, helping him fix the plate on his riding mower. Anyway, all those friends, I heard about everybody. He called me one day and said, would you like to have custody people with me? And my family, he says, I have to warn you, a crazy family, but I think you'll have fun. And we said, we had a real good time. And I feel like I'm part of the family. I really do. I love everybody and we love you all so very, very much. Boy, love you and your voice. Like this, you know, you really, number one, is going down. Really, really do. I will. And I guess more than a job, taking care of you all. It's not easy. You all. One last funny story. One more week. Penny has a birthday. This is going to sound strange, but I'm adopting a person after Canada. I'm trying to get me over the border, but because of the pandemic, I'm ready to get this person back over the border. So I love to live, and now she's done motivated, and she says she's going for me to get something over the border and bring it back. So I said to her, last week, this was after Kenny passed. Last week, I said to her, what have you been calling this kitten since it's been born? Because she's laying there and all her very so funny. And I wasn't sure I wanted to keep the same name. She said to me, I always name my litters after a theme. And this theme was country music. So she has several females, one Tommy Hardy, I happen to be the male, and the Rogers. I'm getting Kenny Rogers treasurer, and I'm gonna keep that.
One second.